and welcome to Xbox On. Now, if I'm sounding a little tired today, it's because I'm not getting much sleep. I recently played through Little Nightmares, a game about a small child trying to survive a world of grotesque horror creatures. These freaky beasts invaded my dreams and disturbed my slumber. As I lay there, desperately trying to count sheep, I couldn't stop thinking about all the other disturbing enemies that had given me restless nights over the years. Little Nightmares is the freshest horror, so we'll start with that. Its dark, industrial world, think Inside meets a slaughterhouse, is staffed by ambiguous mute creatures. Often only glimpsed at a distance, it's hard to get a read on what they actually are. Some hide their real faces behind masks made of human skin, others move with a jerkiness that makes them look like puppets controlled by some unseen master. But not nice Sesame Street puppets, no, these freaks would tear Elmo limb from limb. For my money, the freakiest is the long-limbed janitor. There's a hint of Slender Man in his incredibly long limbs, all the better for snatching up little girls as they try to run away. The one advantage you have is his apparent blindness, which you can exploit by avoiding squeaky wooden floors. But years of living in the dark has honed his senses, and even the tiniest noise will have his hands wrapped around your throat. What really freaks us out is how easily he can vanish and reappear. Those long arms of his letting him lower himself from the ceiling or suddenly grab at you through cracks in the floor. The developers do an amazing job of stretching your encounter with him over a whole level, one full of endless nasty shocks and some sweet revenge that I wouldn't possibly spoil here. But even with him defeated, it's hard to shake the feeling of those hands creeping towards you in the dark. For those who enjoy teaming up with mates on the couch and killing a horde of undead creeps with shotguns and chainsaws, you can't get much better than Left 4 Dead. The local co-op zombie apocalypse fest made zombie slaying an absolute riot, and there was nothing like a special infected beast appearing and making your job of wiping out the undead that little bit harder. The outright creepiest of the bunch though has to be the witch. Sure, her name doesn't sound too spooky, but just one encounter with this undead horror will have you holding your breath every time you walk around a corner. So the thing that gives away that the witch is nearby is the sounds she makes. Yep, listen out for a creepy howling and desperate sobbing, because chances are you're about to bump into a witch, and that is something you do not want to do under any circumstances. You see, she's basically an instant death sentence. If you shine your torch on her or run too close to her, she immediately locks onto you and won't end her pursuit until either you or her are dead. And here's a little spoiler, it's most likely going to be you. She may be slight in size, but she literally rips your face off with her bare hands, and unless you've got some fast-acting teammates to take her out, you're looking at a one-way ticket to Deadsville. One tactic to get round her if she spawns in a narrow corridor that you can't get past is to sacrifice one of your AI friends. I know it's harsh, but just gently nudge them towards her until she completely freaks out and rips them to shreds. Yes, you're an awful person. Yes, your teammate will grumble about how half dead they feel for the rest of the level. And yes, how could you sacrifice someone else? What were you thinking, you monster? But on the plus side, no witch face ripping, which as far as I'm concerned is worth the label of traitor. It's hard to make a scary zombie in the modern age. The things are so widespread that they've just become a part of everyday life, like traffic lights or crisps. And who's scared of traffic lights or crisps? But when it comes to making zombies scary again, Dying Light has an extra hurdle to leap, in that you are very good at leaping hurdles. Your parkour skills are so developed that it's all too easy to escape the zombie hordes. Developer Techland solution is the Volatiles, a super-powered undead tank that only comes out at night. These things are incredibly fast, pretty much impervious to whatever whacking implement you have in your hands, and can take you down in a matter of seconds. Your only real defense against them is a UV light, which will temporarily stun them, but this is only any good if you're facing one at a time. Also, UV light makes the Volatiles grow a freaky orange color, which makes them look extra nightmarish. No, the best solution is to run. It's amazing how fast your honed parkour skills go out the window when you've got a roaring monster on your tail. All of a sudden, every jump you fluff or hand grip you miss means potential death, and it really heightens the game. As such, you come to fear not just the Volatiles, but the night itself. Lugging back to home base as the sun sets is one of the most stressful experiences in video games. Good luck getting a good night's sleep after that. Okay, this next one may only apply to me, but it's a special bit of childhood trauma. In 19 1991's action-adventure classic Another World, death comes quick and it comes often. It's one of the only games you can die in without pressing a single button. When you spawn in a pool at the start, a tentacle beast will grab you unless you start to swim. Climb out of the pool and you meet the slugs. These things may look as menacing as a dog turd, but they pack a nasty surprise. Get too near one and they reveal a poisonous tooth and kill you with one bite. "'Tis but a scratch," you might cry, but these alien slugs are made of nastier stuff than our common garden variety. It's almost comical how quickly our hero hits the floor with one bite. I say almost, as after you've died 10, 20, 30 times, it gets less funny. Trying to leap over them with a snarling monster on your tail is even harder. When I originally played this game on the Mega Drive, I couldn't get past these things. I thought this was the game, an endless death by slug simulator. When the game was remastered for Xbox One, I could live the nightmare afresh. Thanks. Catherine is a very unique game to say the least. Half of the game is played out in a bar as you drink, send text messages and chat to the locals, whilst the other half is played out in a nightmare puzzle world where you're attacked by bizarre and creepy beasts while dressed in your spotty underpants with goat horns. Yep, I told you it was unique. So to get an idea of the nightmare bosses, you have to have a grasp as to what's going on in the real world. Vincent, the main character, is caught in a love triangle between his long-term girlfriend Catherine with a K and his exciting new fling, Catherine with a C. His nightmares tend to reflect whatever's on his mind. When you first start questioning about being tied down to your beloved, she'll literally haunt your dreams and try to pin you down with giant forks. As you climb up the puzzle blocks, she'll scream that she's never letting you escape, and with one foul swoop of her cutlery, she'll instantly kill you. The other boss that sticks out for us has to be one of the creepiest things ever, and that's because it's a giant butt monster. Yep, a big old giant butt that's trying to kill you. Said horrible butt monster will chase you up the level, all the time trying to impale you with its tongue for a one-hit kill. Try and keep a clear head and stay strong in the face of the creepiest boss ever, and you'll make it out of the nightmare alive. Let's just hope dreams don't come true, huh? If you've gorged yourself on the Attack on Titan anime series, you'll already be nodding in agreement at this next pick. The titans of the title are the child-eating monsters of Roald Dahl's The BFG, amplified by 1,000,000. Everything about them is weird. The nakedness is a key factor. It's very odd to have a giant naked man, as smooth down below as a Ken doll, chasing after you. Then there's the strange flailing run, or the gormless grin smeared across the mouth they want to stick you in. The fact that they look so peaceful as they try to murder you is incredibly creepy. At least most of the monsters on this list have the decency to come after you with a bit of malice. And it's even worse when you finally take them down. Chopping off entire legs or arms gets zero reaction from them. They just hobble on with the smile still frozen on their face. When you finally deliver the death blow to the back of the neck, it doesn't feel like a victory, but like putting some tragic creature out of its misery. Still, it's better than a trip into a Titan tummy, we guess. I wasn't able to pick one enemy from the next game as everything in it freaks me out. The Binding of Isaac is basically Disturbing Enemies, the game. You're a small boy stuck in a randomly generated maze filled with screaming heads, living poo, bleeding neck stumps, and things that look like lumps of gristle that you've been chewing on for a while. Most things explode in a puff of gore and fleshy bits, while everything sounds worryingly squishy and oozy as they slurp about. If ever a game needed to be kept in a refrigerator once opened, it's this. And that's before you get onto the bosses, such as giant snarling worms, conjoined twins, and giant lumps of meat studded with teeth. It's a game that not only puts you off sleep, but the general concept of food too. You have been warned. Inside is a very creepy and eerie game in general, but the mermaids spring to mind when it comes to the spooky factor. Now, usually when you think of mermaids, you think of Ariel and Disney songs and sparkly fins and happy times, but when it comes to the mermaids from inside, it's all dragging you to your death and frantically chasing you before pulling you to a watery grave. Yeah, I'm not sure you could make a fun-filled family song about that. You can keep the mermaids at bay by shining a light on them from your submarine, but look away for too long and they'll worm their way in before what we can only assume is stealing your very soul. There's something incredibly nerve-wracking about trying to outswim a mermaid as she races towards you with her thick cloud of black hair. Of course, she's a better swimmer than you, so any attempt at beating her at a race ends in your quick and most likely very painful death. Don't listen to Sebastian. Under the sea is what nightmares are made of. So those have been 8 disturbing enemies guaranteed to give you big nightmares. Have we missed out anything that gives you bad dreams? Make sure to share them in the comments below, though don't come crying to us if reading them gives you restless nights. If you enjoyed this feature as much as you can enjoy these creatures, please do subscribe and hit that like button. We'll see you again soon. Sleep well.